Hello everyone, I am Bagustus and this is my partner Will Ransaki.
Hello.
And welcome to our project. It is on the in-depth and complex history of IBM. Will and I will be teaching it to you today, so take a seat and get comfortable. IBM stands for the International Business Machines Company. It is a company rooted in the development of computer hardware and software, founded by Charles Flint in 1911. Throughout its history, IBM dominated the market because of its production of consumer-grade computers and other appliances such as scales, automobiles, and guns, subsequently making it one of the primary stocks included in the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, two of the major stock market indexes within the United States. In present day, IBM is currently one of the leading producers and distributors of software and general technological services. However, IBM services are not only limited to the United States, as they operated in approximately 90 other countries across the world today, making its influence felt across the world. With headquarters located in Armonk, New York, IBM has also had an extensive history with the US, even serving the US government as independent contractors. With such an extensive and complex history, IBM has also made major mistakes that should have left a major mark on the company, but did not. However, this will be expanded on later as my partner Will Ransaki would like to get in some words about IBM as well.
Thank you, Bagustus. You would be forgiven for having forgotten about IBM, as many believe they have had some very mediocre business quarters in the last couple of decades. This is not necessarily true, however, as IBM keeps driving itself to be a leader in specific fields. IBM makes it a priority to acquire innovative leaders in these fields, such as Nordcloud in the case of its hybrid cloud consulting capabilities, which are said to be very complementary to IBM's own technological innovations. IBM has also acquired several new companies in 2020 alone, with some business transactions set to complete in 2021. Beyond acquiring leaders in fields to capitalize on the vast amounts of technological potential, IBM has consistently been named as the company that acquires the most patents every year for the past decade. Despite all the acquisitions and constant technological innovations, IBM has been losing annual profits over the past couple of years, and yes, this is a visible trend from before the disease that shall not be named. IBM is not just defined by its current market strength, however, as it is now over a century old. That is a whole 100 years of history. Do you have anything else you would like to add pertaining to IBM history, Bagustus?
Yes, always Will Ransaki, thank you. IBM has a very long history, especially within the United States. IBM actually consists of emerging between three companies in 1911, those companies being the International Time Recording Company, the Computing Scale Company, and the Tabulating Machine Company. The merging was designed by a man named Charles F. Flint, and this is how he became the founder of IBM. Even after these companies merged into what is ultimately IBM, it was known as the Computer Tabulating Recording Company. Thomas J. Watson Sr. was hired in 1914 to manage the much larger Computer Tabulating Recording Company, as Flint was neither capable or interested in doing so himself. Under Watson's supervision, IBM would see a drastic amount of growth, such as the expanding of the company's production lines, in addition to researching and developing new technologies, such as the Model 01 electric typewriter. Thomas J. Watson Sr. was quite the interesting fellow. Is there anything you would like to say about him, Will Ransaki?
How could I not talk about him, Bagustus? Watson Sr. was a very efficient man, especially in the fields of international business and business policy. Watson created the 100% Club in 1935 to celebrate all the hard-working employees and their families that made IBM so successful. Due to Watson's superior business decisions, he was also elected as the head of International Chamber of Commerce. Under the guidance of Watson Sr., IBM grew rapidly and made some very lucrative business decisions, although the cost of those decisions machines were the lives of millions of people. Let me expand on that. War. Some people have heard that war can be highly profitable. This was the case for IBM, as they were able to squeeze money out of both the United States and the Third Reich. Within the US, IBM was allowed to supply tabulating machines to enhance the speed at which the US Census was taken. With the help of tabulating machines, the census was actually finished a whole month earlier than the previous census.
Wow, like IBM totally sucks. Imagine helping the bad guys. Couldn't be me, angry face.
Don't worry, dear viewers. IBM also greatly benefited America as well. Take it away, Begustus.
Once the United States joined the war, IBM would expand production from general products and tabulating machines to firearms and other military appliances. These would include the production of the IBM M1 carbine, bomb sights, and even IBM automobiles. It is conceivable that IBM began helping with the war effort to compensate for their involvement with the German subsidies. IBM technically made a good business decision, albeit an immoral one, and profited off both sides of the war.
The funds acquired from World War II would eventually propel IBM into a new age of prosperity. Once the war ended, IBM continued acquiring more companies and subsidiaries. The most major change was a reprioritization of innovative technology. Prior to the 60s, in 1956, Thomas J. Watson Sr. retired from being CEO of the IBM Corporation and was replaced by his son, Thomas J. Watson Jr. During the 1960s, under Jr.'s supervision, IBM constructed a myriad of mainframe computers. Think of the computers that took up half an acre of land and dozens of personnel to maintain. In 1975, IBM shifted their development towards more commercial-grade computers, and thus the 5100 personal computer was developed. However, this would be a far cry from the much more compact and efficient consumer-grade personal computers IBM would produce in 1981. The IBM 5150, which would range from $1,000 to $2,000, was the first of its kind, being a more widely available computer for consumers.
If you navigate to the link located in Schoology, you can experience some of the software that was available to consumers during this time. There were games such as Donkey Boss, Cat and Mouse, Adventures in Math, Zork 1, Fantasyland, and other entertainment options such as musical experiences with the Compact Computer series by IBM. These entertainment options would set a standard for the future of personal computers. However, do be aware that these programs are far from easy to use, and do not even think about mashing your keyboard in a fit of frustration, as all you will get back in return are ear-piercing screeches. Due to the confusing user interfaces and a newborn idea of personal computers, IBM also made many guides on how to use them. An example would be Exploring the IBM Personal Computer, also available in the link provided. Though no matter how infuriating computers and software was in the early 1980s, there is something just timeless about the monochromatic displays and the ear-piercing beeps they gave off.
Hello there. If you don't mind, there's a Google form link with some discussion prompts located in Schoology that we would like your input on. Thank you for watching.